is Shira, and this is the Cancer full moon outlook for January 17th, 2022. So, first off, we've got the Sun in Capricorn at 27 degrees, and that is conjunct powerful Pluto in Capricorn, also at 26 degrees. Then the Sun makes an exact opposition, of course, to the Moon in Cancer at 27 degrees. So let's first look at what Cancer represents. Cancer represents caring. It represents nurturing, the family, the fourth house. It can also rule real estate or the actual house we live in, as well as family, sensitivity, and strong emotions. Cancers are known to be very nurturing, and Cancer is about history and it is about the past. So with a full moon, and of course with a full moon, this heightens our emotions, either positively or negatively. And since Cancer full moon is opposing the Sun and Pluto at 26 and 27, this is going to heighten our awareness of our emotions connected with home and family, sensitivity, and matters concerning that, which represents Capricorn. So let's look at Capricorn. Capricorn is representative of responsibility. It is about structure. It is about rules and regulations. And Capricorn is very much about hard work and responsibility. Sometimes doing the right thing and being very cautious of everything. So when you've got the Sun conjoining Pluto, which is about power, in Capricorn, opposing the Moon, there will be some concerns with such structure, authority figures, and being very sensitive to rules and regulations. There may be an event or events now that are connected with government, because this is also connected with authority and Capricorn. And this is connected with the Moon, which rules the masses. It rules the public eye. And when you have the Moon in its own sign of Cancer and a full moon at Yet, that will only heighten and increase our awareness, our sensitivities to what is represented here. There is going to be a concern, or there will be discussions about home, family, children, another issue connected with the Moon. There is going to be possible disagreements or breakdowns with that rules history and structure. And we will have to find ways of bettering ourselves, our home, our family. And this is connected not with us just personally, but nationally, internationally. And what do we call home? What do we look at as structure. How can we look back to our history to provide for a better future? And because Pluto, the powerhouse, and Pluto can be representative of explosions, there may be heated disagreements or explosions connected with our personal opinions about home, family, sensitivities, and we will have to be rather sensitive or aware of others' feelings and emotions. And personally, in any type or form of relationships, whether it's home, family, romantic, right now we could be a little bit touchy about how we feel about our what? Our security. And nationally, internationally, this will also be a bit of a concern, is our personal security. And we've got Pluto opposite the moon with the sun, so security features are going to be very prominent right now. So moving along, we've got Uranus still in Taurus, and that is making a square to Saturn, although the square between Uranus and Saturn is now going to widen a bit. However, nonetheless, the square is there and within 3 degrees. So the square is somewhat close as of yet. Then we've got Mercury, the planet of thought and communication, in Aquarius, and guess what? That is now retrograde. So there are going to be some communication snags, and as all Mercury retrograde phases, this is not the time to sign on the dotted line. Now, to increase more of a concern regarding Mercury, its depositor is Uranus in Taurus retrograde. And with both Mercury and its depositor Uranus in Taurus and with Saturn in Aquarius, we are going to find additionally on this very somewhat tense full moon some issues possibly with hacking or technology. There may be on the communication scale, because of Mercury, some mix-ups with the he said, she said. And what else does Aquarius rule? It rules our humanity, as always, and it rules the future. So nonetheless, even a Mercury retrograde and a Uranus retrograde with Saturn, there will be more serious discussions about our future, how we can improve our technology. And Aquarius is about our humanity and how we can improve our connections with each other, and the discussion about giving and receiving and being very connected with each other. But because both Saturn and Mercury retrograde with Uranus, all in square to each other, we will have to watch what we say, Mercury. And it's very likely best to, yes, because we are talking air here, to remain detached and unemotional in our discussions. But nonetheless, we don't want to be too cold and too calculating, because this in itself could become a bit of an issue. And if there's any sense of getting even with somebody, or tit for tat, or seeing that your way is better than someone else's way, this is going to be a subject or a topic of a concern. But with Aquarius positive qualities, we must connect with each other and remain objective and friendly, Aquarius, and understand each other's point of view, even with Saturn, Mercury in the very stubborn sign, fixed sign of Aquarius, as with Uranus in the very stubborn and fixed sign of Taurus and retrograde. So we may become clenched in some sort of opposition regarding opinions, right and wrong, and that may get deeper into philosophy, religion, and so forth. So this may be, yes, to be honest, a bit of a tense full moon between security issues, and Venus is not too far behind, although Venus is additionally retrograde and will make a trine, thank goodness, to Uranus. We will have to really open up lines of communication because of issues of security and issues with communication breakdowns and issues with philosophy, spirituality, religion, and so on. And there will be Cancer full moon because of these aspects, certain feelings of insecurity within home and family, and again nationally possibly. But yes, thank goodness for Venus, even retrograde the past, making a trine to Uranus. That will help to kind of soothe over our a bit of rough emotions right now. And what is Venus representative? Venus is representative of love and affection, warmth, kindness, caring. So in its retrograde phase, we will be referring a lot regarding the past. Who knows? There could be loved ones who show up from our past, or we find ourselves suddenly in communication with. And when I say suddenly, that's definitely the unexpected. Someone may suddenly show up that you haven't heard for so long, and it will be a very welcome return. So this is a positive for this full moon right now. Just don't be too close-minded because of the Venus in Capricorn sense of responsibility and sense of duty. But with a trine, and yes, both of them retrograde in Uranus in Taurus, that will lend for a certain amount of pleasant surprise. Now we have Mars in Sagittarius, and that makes a within roughly 4 degrees square to Neptune. And Neptune, remember, is the deceiver or the confuser. And when you have the planet of action, Mars in Sagittarius, in the go get 'em sign and boisterous, happy go lucky sign of Sagittarius, we may feel very excited about some kind of project or something positive on the back burner. But because Neptune is providing the event for confusion or uncertainty, and with all this retrograde planetary action right now, even if we are feeling rather positive about the future, Mars in Sagittarius, Mercury and Saturn in Aquarius, right now's not the time to sign on the line. One thing, Mercury and yes, Uranus in this case, Venus retrograde, the retrogrades are good for is, yes, a retrospect. My advice, go back into the past and correct what issues need to be corrected, because when you've got retrograde planets in the sky, that's kind of a sign from the universe to somewhat look back into history and maybe reconnect retrograde what not only needs to be reconnected but reformed. And once we do this, and if especially because of this square, there are confusions about moving ahead with projects or starting new projects, or depending where this square is in your personal birth chart, if there is any uncertainty, then it's best to hold off, in this case, until February. Nonetheless, Mars provides some good enthusiasm. So, go behind the scenes and have some of those discussions to plan for tomorrow. Now we've got Jupiter at 4 degrees and 4 minutes of Pisces. Now, Jupiter really isn't making any major aspects right now, except for a bit of a T-square to the nodes, which are then going to be going back into Taurus and Scorpio respectively, while Jupiter will move forward. But on and around the full moon, because there is a T-square, mutable T-square with the nodes and Jupiter, what do nodes represent? Nodes are somewhat like the moon. They are representative of our emotions and our sensitivity. So it's one thing that we've got a full moon with some uncertain or somewhat negative aspects. Then you add the south node, the north node in Sagittarius, Gemini, respectively, with lucky, yet yes, that word again, sensitive Pisces. We are only going to be more psychic because it's in a water sign and very in tune with our surroundings and our heightened emotions. So this may be a good time on the positive end here to look into doing some metaphysical or psychical work. Look to some kind of healing activity right now, because we've got the nodes squaring off with Jupiter, and that's a very tender, delicate T-square. And then we've got the moon and also void in Cancer. So the positive of this full moon is it's a time to really try to reach out and understand and sympathize, even empathize with those closest to you, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's in love, because that will do much to bridge some of these somewhat negative aspects right now during this full moon, and especially with the moon making a very wide 6-7 degrees trine with mysterious yet secretive, sensitive, up that word again, Neptune in Pisces. So that's one very positive connection here, is if we feel insecure, if we feel put upon, or there are disagreements because of some of these connections right now in the sky, then the best thing to do is look here at the good. And the good is take time for downtime. Look into if you're not into much connected with the metaphysical or the psychical, look into possible medical issues that can be psychological, as in counseling, can be medical, as in physical medical, or even esoteric right now. This is one positive, beautiful, blessed connection in the sky with the full moon. We will have heightened sensitivities, and we could make lots of connections right now with medical, spiritual, psychological, and so on, because of this watery element here. So yes, this full moon will be, well, stubborn. We will have to open up our minds and really reach out to each other to see what is going on, what makes us tick, when there are communication breakdowns and a sense of insecurity. So, with that said, if we take heed of the positive and provide a light touch and understanding to some of the rough edges, then, hey, even the Cancer full moon will work out.
If you'd like to get in touch with me, my contact information is down below. I give one-on-one readings and written reports. Please subscribe to this channel and press the bell notification. Until next time, many, many blessings.